We followed a map of red pins dropped at 1-minute intervals. Alleys, stairwells, basements, then one pin inside the poster's own apartment. No typo, no reset. This is LurmoStories. Coordinates don't lie. Sleep does. If you know the address, don't go.
I work night shifts at a 24-hour grocery store. Quiet hours, fewer customers, just me and the hum of old freezers. I don't mind it. It's peaceful, repetitive. Until a few weeks ago. It started with apples. A woman was buying the usual, some fruit, milk, a loaf of bread. I scanned the apples, and the screen showed apples, 3 cents. I did a double take, checked the tag on the apple display. It said $2.19 per pound. But the register clearly showed 3 cents. No discount, no promo label, just 3 cents. The receipt printed like nothing was wrong. The customer didn't notice, but something about that line of text, it looked off, like it was typed on an old typewriter, serif font, cold gray background. I told my manager, Anita, during shift change. She brushed it off. Probably a glitch. IT'll fix it next update. I figured she was right. Glitches happen. But then it kept happening. Always on register 4. Always with random items. Potatoes, canned corn, salt. All with absurd prices. 2 cents, 5 cents, 8 cents. One night, this guy came in. He looked off. Clothes didn't match the season. Carried a basket with just 5 items. Lard, flour, corned beef, matches, and some kind of old soap bar. Looked like it belonged in a museum. I scanned them. All rang up under a nickel. I looked at him. Where'd you find these? He didn't look up, just said, same shelf as always. His voice was dry, paper thin. He paid in cash, old bills, and left without another word. The receipt, printed with the date, March 4th, 1923. No store ID, no register number. After that, I avoided using register 4, but when I got forced back on it during a busy night, it was waiting for me. No startup logo, just a plain gray screen and the word ready. I tested it, scanned regular groceries. Some rang normal, others showed impossible prices. 6-cent cereal, 4-cent soup. I filmed it on my phone, but the video came out corrupted, except for the screen. That part was perfectly clear. I'm not sure what's going on. The register acts normal, until it doesn't. Sometimes it scans items we don't even sell. Cigarette rations, 7 cents. Last time, when I tried to void one of these mystery items, the screen flashed a message I've never seen before. Do not erase what is owed. Then it froze. It came back after a minute, but the total? It was wrong. Too low. And the customer left with more than they paid for. I don't think they even noticed, but I did. Something is slipping through this register, and it's not groceries. I started keeping a log, a notebook hidden under the counter. I write down the strange scans, items, prices, dates. Every time it's a product priced like it's the Great Depression, and every time the receipt date lands somewhere in 1923. Always that year. Never earlier, never later. 2 nights ago, I scanned a can of soup. The screen flashed for half a second, then displayed chowder, 5 cents, packed in Rockford. That location struck me. We don't sell anything from Rockford. I looked at the can. It was Campbell's, same as always, normal barcode, but the screen insisted it was something else. I checked the security footage after my shift. My hands moved like normal, but the can I scanned wasn't Campbell's on the video. It looked like a plain tin with a black and white paper label. I paused the video, zoomed in, no brand, just the word chowder typed across it. No one noticed, not even the customer. Last night, it escalated. A man came in, tall, stiff, dressed in a worn trench coat. He had a paper list, literal paper, yellowed with handwriting in fountain pen ink, I swear. He placed only 3 items on the belt: vinegar, barley, and a small cloth sack. The sack had no barcode, no label. I told him, "Sir, I can't scan this." He just stared, not angry, just waiting. So I tried anyway, held it near the scanner. The register beeped, loud. Wrong tone, not our usual ding, but a long, flat buzz. The screen flashed black for a full second, then came back with grain, foreign, 3 cents, ledger noted. I looked at the guy. He gave the faintest nod, paid in coins, old, dull ones. I picked one up. It had a wheat stalk on it. No date, just the word Liberty in cracked letters. I bagged his stuff and handed him the receipt without a word. He didn't leave right away. Just stood there a moment, then said quietly, "It's almost settled," and walked out. I still have the coin. I probably shouldn't have kept it, but I did. It's ice cold, even now. Tonight, I came in early and checked Register 4's diagnostic screen. There's a hidden menu meant for managers. I don't know why I looked, just felt like I had to. In the log, beneath recent sales, it had entries labeled "Debets cleared," all next to those weird transactions. Not sales, not refunds, debts. I don't know what kind of system this register is connected to anymore, but it's not just ringing up food, it's keeping score.
I didn't plan to work last night. I'd asked Anita to cut me from the schedule. She said she did. But when I walked past the store around midnight, something pulled me in. I don't have a better way to explain it. The lights were on, the door unlocked, but no one was inside. Not a soul, not even security. Register 4 was lit up, screen waiting, ready. I shouldn't have walked in, but I did. There was a cart already at the belt, just sitting there. Inside, a single item. A glass bottle with no label, filled with thick black liquid. No barcode, no markings. It didn't even look sealed. My hands moved on their own. I picked it up, placed it near the scanner. It didn't beep. Instead, the lights flickered. The ceiling speakers crackled. Then, silence. The screen displayed, final item 0, balance closed. I backed away. The store suddenly felt wrong, like it wasn't mine anymore, or never had been. The receipt printed slowly, whisper quiet. I didn't want to touch it, but I did. It was longer than normal. The top just said, Marlowe's Market, Astaired 1923. No address, no phone, no logo. Then a list. Names, not items, just names. Dozens, hundreds, none of them customers. I recognized 2. One was the guy with the trench coat. The other was mine. At the bottom, a message. Register closed. All accounts settled. The screen went black. Not just the screen, the whole store. No lights, no hum, just dead silence. I left the cart, the bottle, the paper, ran out the front door. No alarm went off. Outside, the parking lot was empty. Even the sky felt off. Too still. No wind, no noise. Like the world was holding its breath. I haven't gone back. I called Anita this morning just to hear her voice. But someone else answered. Said there's no Anita working there. Said there's no Marlowe's Market on record. I live 2 blocks away. There's a parking lot where the store should be. Fresh pavement. No sign anything was ever there. I still have the receipt. I've read it 100 times. My name is still on it. So I guess that's it. Whatever I helped scan through, it's done now. But I keep thinking about what that man said. It's almost settled. Almost. So if you're working late and your register starts ringing up strange prices, don't finish the sale, don't touch the receipt, and for the love of God, don't take anything home. This is probably the wrong place for a missed connection, but I don't know where else to post this. I work mornings at a little coffee shop called Cedar Bean Cafe. It's quiet, mostly regulars, wooden counters, chalkboard menu, the kind of place people romanticize. I've been there almost 3 years. I know the faces, I know who tips in quarters, I know what a normal day looks like. But lately, people have been acting weird around me. Like they know me better than I know them. It started small. A guy smiled at me like we were in on a joke and said, "You're not wearing your scarf today." I haven't worn a scarf all year. Another woman asked if I was alone. I always work the opening shift alone. At first, I brushed it off, thought maybe they were confusing me with someone else. Until a woman came in, a caramel latte, almond milk, business casual type, and smiled like we were familiar. Not flirty, just sure of something. She said, "Decided to keep it professional today?" I asked what she meant. She looked confused. "You kissed me," she said, like she was stating a fact, back there, behind the counter. I told her I didn't. I told her I'd never seen her before. She stared at me. Not angry, just surprised. "Okay," she said, "maybe it wasn't you." But it was the way she said it, like she didn't believe that. After she left, I checked the security footage. Nothing. No sign of her from any day that week. Then this morning, a regular showed me a post from our missed connections on his phone. It read, "To the barista at Cedar Bean Cafe. We kissed behind the counter last week. You said I should come back when I was ready to tell the truth. I came back. You looked right through me. You don't remember. I thought it was a prank, but the post had hundreds of upvotes. Comments too. One said, "Same guy forgot me when I mentioned the door." Another, "He acts normal until you say you've seen him outside." Outside? I barely leave the shop. There is no door behind the counter, just a mini fridge and some shelves. After close, I moved everything. There's nothing there. But when I got home, there was a folded note in my coat pocket. I don't remember putting it there. It had my name written on the outside in handwriting that looked like mine. Inside, it just said, "He's not supposed to remember. Stop asking about the door."
I didn't go in the next morning.
I called out sick and stayed in bed with my phone, trying not to check the misconnection post. Of course, I did anyway. It had even more comments now. People saying they remembered me in different clothes, with different hair. Someone said they saw me lock the door behind them after we talked. I've never locked the cafe door for a customer. That afternoon, someone rang my buzzer. I live above a laundromat. No one visits me. I didn't answer, but they left something wedged in the outer door. It was a receipt from Cedar Bean Cafe. My name was scribbled in the corner, and a short note under the order. "Stop lying to them. You told me you'd try." I flipped the receipt over. The timestamp matched a shift I worked 2 days ago, but I don't remember writing that. I checked the handwriting again. Still looked like mine. I even grabbed an old notebook to compare. Same slant, same weird little curl in my T. I went back to work the next day because avoiding it only made it worse. I figured being around people would help me feel normal again. It didn't. A woman I've never seen before came up to the counter. She smiled and said, "You told me I could say anything, that you'd still remember me after." I told her I think she had the wrong person. Her face crumpled, like I slapped her. She didn't argue, just said softly, "You're different today," and walked out. Later that shift, I found a piece of tape stuck to the underside of the counter. You know, the kind people use to hang up notes. It had faded writing on it, just 3 words. "Keep the door." I don't know what that means. I asked my manager if someone used to live upstairs or behind the shop. She blinked at me like I was joking. "There's nothing behind the wall, Alex. Just brick." I've started hearing sounds when I'm alone in the shop. Not footsteps, but like drawers opening. Sometimes I catch a whiff of cologne, faint and familiar. It makes my stomach twist. Tonight, I have stayed late. I wanted to see if anything would happen if I stayed past close. Nothing did. Until I went to turn off the lights. That's when I saw it. There was something in the mirror behind the espresso machine. Just for a second. It looked like me, but the eyes weren't right. Wider, like they were waiting. And it smiled at me. I didn't smile back. I just turned off the light and left. When I got home, my phone buzzed. 1 new email. No subject, no sender. Just a message. "He opened the door for me. Why won't you?" I kept thinking about the message. He opened the door for me. I still don't know what door they mean, but it keeps showing up in conversations, online, even written on the back of old order slips. Always the same phrase. "You don't remember." Today, I opened the shop alone. It felt normal for about 20 minutes. Then someone came in, wearing my hoodie. Exactly like mine. Same fading on the sleeves, same bleach stain near the pocket. He stood at the counter, smiling. And I swear to God, it was me.
Same face, same tired eyes, same scar on the side of my jaw. But this version of me had something different in his voice, like he was used to being listened to. Even making it harder, he said. They don't like that. I asked who they were. He didn't answer. Just looked around the shop, then back at me, like it was his. You used to understand. You kept the door open. You let them come through when they needed. I laughed, nervously, and said this must be some kind of prank. He tilted his head. You think you're the first version who tried to forget? And then he just walked past the counter, like he belonged there. I didn't stop him. He stood in the corner behind the espresso machine, facing the wall. Then he leaned forward and tapped it. A hollow sound, like something behind it. He turned to me. You buried it, he said. But it remembers you. Then he left. No one else saw him. I checked the cameras again. Nothing. The footage skipped straight from me pouring a drink to me standing alone, staring at the wall. At closing, I grabbed a flashlight and tapped along the wall behind the machine. There was a hollow patch, just one square. I pressed it. It clicked. Part of the panel popped open, like a small door. There was a narrow gap behind it. Too dark to see much, but I caught the smell. Not rot. Not dust. Something warm. Breathing. I closed it. I nailed the panel shut. I covered it with bags of coffee. Tonight, I checked our misconnections one more time. There was a new post. To the version of you that stayed afraid. You used to hold the door open for people like me. I miss who you were. I'm sorry this version didn't make it. I tried to post a reply, but the app froze. When I reopened it, the post was gone. I'm not going back to work. I think someone else already has.
Hey Reddit! This is my first post here, and honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what's happening at my yoga studio. I run a small wellness center. Nothing fancy, just yoga classes, breathwork, and meditation. I took over from the previous owner about 6 months ago. She left suddenly and didn't say much, just handed me the keys and a stack of attendance sheets going back years. We use paper sign-in sheets by the door for every class. It's a simple system, name and signature. Easy enough, right? But recently, I started noticing things that don't add up. At first, it was the names. People signing in with names I'd never heard before. Weird ones like Naya or Ela. I figured maybe they were nicknames and new clients. But as weeks passed, I realized some names just didn't fit the people I was seeing or not seeing. I pay attention during class. I walk the floor, call out names, and chat with students after. But some names on the sheets didn't belong to anyone in the room. That wouldn't be so strange if it were once or twice, but it happened almost every class. One night, after closing, I stayed late sorting through props and saw 3 new names signed on the sheet for that evening's class. Except nobody new had come in after the class ended. The studio was empty, the door locked, the windows closed. The signatures looked familiar, but off, like someone was trying to mimic handwriting, but got it wrong somehow. The letters twisted oddly, almost jagged. I checked the security footage from that night. No one came in after class, no shadows moving around, just me, locking up. Yet those names were there, signed in as if they had attended. I showed the sheets to my assistant. She said she sometimes hears soft creaks or whispers when she's alone here late, but chalked it up to the old building settling. Still, she looked uneasy. The weirdest thing, one of the new signatures had a faint smudge next to it, a thumbprint in the chalk dust from the floor. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not superstitious, and this place is supposed to be peaceful. But every time I look at the sheets, I feel like I'm being watched. I'm going to keep an eye on things. If this keeps happening, I'll update. Has anyone else experienced something like this? Weird attendance logs or unexplained visitors? I'm open to theories.
Thanks for the replies, everyone. I wasn't sure if I should post again, but things have gotten stranger, and honestly, I'm starting to feel unsettled. After that night with the mysterious signatures, I started paying closer attention to the sign-in sheets during every class. It's like the odd names multiplied. Now, some of the students signing in are bending into poses that no one should be able to do without injury. I'm talking about impossible twists, limbs folding in ways that make my skin crawl. One woman signed in as Mila, but when I called her name, nobody responded. A few minutes later, I noticed a mat rolled neatly in the corner where I'd swear someone was balancing on their head an instant ago.
I asked the regulars, but none of them knew anyone named Mila. I even checked the cameras again. There's no sign of anyone slipping in or out. The studio is empty aside from those of us actually taking class. The more I watch the sheets, the more I realize that some signatures are almost too perfect, like they were traced. The letters look slick, as if someone wrote them with a kind of precision you don't see in normal handwriting. Then came the physical changes. Props would be shifted between classes. That happens, sure, but sometimes mats were twisted into tight spirals, like they'd been contorted by hands far more flexible than humanly possible. One morning, I found a pair of sandals bent unnaturally on the floor. The leather stretched and folded back on itself. It's subtle, but it's there. And last night, after a late class, I was wiping down the sign-in desk and noticed the sheets sticking together. When I pulled them apart, I saw faint indentations. Not just names, but impressions of fingers curling in unnatural ways. I don't want to say it, but it feels like something is stretching beyond the limits of flesh and bone, leaving traces here. I tried to bring it up with a few of the students, but they just smiled, saying things like, "The body is capable of far more than we believe," or "You'll see, just wait." But their smiles felt tight, almost forced. I'm beginning to dread looking at the sign-in sheets. It's like they're alive, twisting and pulling at something beneath the surface of the studio. I don't know what to do. I've started leaving the studio doors open after hours, hoping that whatever is here will leave. But every morning, new, strange names appear. It's not just names now. The handwriting is different each time, but all share the same sharp angles, like fingers grasping at the paper. I'm trying to convince myself it's some weird prank or my imagination running wild, but the evidence is mounting, and I'm scared. If this keeps up, I don't know how long I'll be able to stay here. All right, here's the last update. I don't know how to say this without sounding crazy, but things have escalated beyond anything I could have imagined. After weeks of watching the sign-in sheets fill with those strange names and impossible signatures, something changed last night. I was closing up after a small class alone again. The usual quiet had settled in, but the air felt thick, heavy, like it was pressing in on me. I noticed the attendance sheet was on the desk, open to the latest class. The last few names were scribbled in that same jagged, unnatural handwriting. But what made my blood run cold was the last entry, a name I recognized, my own, my name. Signed beneath it was my signature, but twisted, letters bent at impossible angles, like fingers curling inward and stretching the ink across the page. I stared at it for a long time. My hands shook. I wanted to tear the page out, burn it, anything. But before I could move, the door creaked. Just that slow, subtle creak again. I turned slowly to see the studio empty. Mats untouched, the air still. But the floor near the entrance had faint marks, like impressions of twisted toes, stretched in ways that no human foot could make without breaking. I grabbed the sheets and my phone, intending to leave, but the phone screen flickered oddly. The brightness dimmed, then flared, showing quick flashes of a shadow twisting behind the glass walls. I don't know if it's real or just exhaustion, but I felt like something was watching from just beyond the edge of vision, stretching its limbs slowly, trying to fold itself into this place. I'm terrified because it feels like this thing is waiting to take over. It's not just about the sheets or the signatures anymore. It's about the body, the flesh, the limits. I feel like it's watching me, waiting for me to sign in again, on its twisted terms. I'm not sure if I'll come back to the studio tomorrow. If I don't, please, if you ever run a place like this, watch your sign-in sheets closely. Watch who's really showing up. Because sometimes the bodies that bend the most aren't human at all. I'm a web developer, so I deal with CAPTCHAs all the time. Usually they're just annoying, but lately there's this one that's been messing with me. It keeps showing up on different sites, always asking me to select all images with doors. And no matter what I do, I keep failing. At first, I thought it was just a glitch. I'd click the images of doors, hit submit, and it would say, try again. I refreshed, tried different browsers, even used my phone. Same result. Only images with doors cause failure. Not windows, not cars, just doors. That was weird, but not alarming. Until I started saving the door images. There's something off about them. The doors look old,
wooden with chipped paint and rusty locks, but the pictures are pixelated oddly, like parts are glitched or obscured on purpose. I ran a reverse image search and nothing came up. No matches, no locations. It's like the doors are from some abandoned place no one knows. Then, last night, while working late in my home office, I got the same CAPTCHA on a site I use for testing. Select all images with doors. I clicked on them, failed again. That's when one door image flickered. For a moment, the door was slightly open, and I swear I saw a dark shape behind it. Tall, shadowy, but blurry. When I blinked, it was shut again. I told myself it was tired eyes, but the flickering happened again, and every time I heard faint knocking. Not from my keyboard or walls, but something soft, deliberate, like someone was tapping on a door. I live alone. Now I can't stop failing that CAPTCHA. The system won't let me in. Every time the door image appears, the knocking gets louder, closer. I'm not sure if this is some weird digital bug or something worse. But if you ever see a CAPTCHA asking for doors, just don't click them. After that night, I couldn't focus. I kept thinking about the door images and that knocking. I didn't want to open any sites with CAPTCHAs asking for doors, but my work forced me to. So I tried something stupid. I saved the door images and started inspecting the pixels closely, zooming in. The glitches weren't random, they formed faint shapes, almost like scratches or symbols. I can't explain it well, but it felt like the image was corrupted on purpose. I also noticed that the shape behind the door wasn't the same every time. Sometimes it looked like a blurred figure, sometimes just a black void, and once, I swear, I saw what looked like a face. Not a photo face, more like a smudge of dark pixels where eyes and a mouth should be. I showed the images to a friend who's into digital art and glitch effects. He said it looked like deliberate pixel manipulation, like someone trying to hide something in the images. I tried to ignore it and get back to work, but the knocking sounds followed me. Not all the time, just sometimes, like when I'm alone and focusing hard. It's soft at first, like a finger tapping on glass, then louder, like a fist pounding on wood. One evening, while debugging some code, my computer froze. The CAPTCHA appeared again with those door images. The knocking started right then. I was about to close the tab, but the cursor moved by itself, clicking on a door. The CAPTCHA instantly failed me. Then my whole screen flickered black, and for a second, I saw the door fully open. No pixels, no distortion, just an open doorway, dark inside. I closed the laptop, heart racing. Since then, every CAPTCHA with doors shows up on every site I visit. It's like it's following me. I even tried using VPNs, clearing caches, but it doesn't matter. The knocking is louder now, and sometimes I hear breathing. Not mine, like someone's standing just outside my door. I don't want to click anymore, but the system won't let me pass the CAPTCHAs. I'm locked out of accounts, stuck in endless loops. I'm scared this isn't just a bug or glitch. It's like the doors are watching me, waiting for me to open them. If you ever get a CAPTCHA asking for doors, don't click. Just don't.
It's been days since I last posted. I needed time to figure out what to say without sounding insane. But honestly, I'm running out of options and hope. The CAPTCHAs with doors aren't just annoying anymore, they've started showing up everywhere. On work sites, social media, even my email login. No matter what I do, I can't bypass them. And the knocking? It's constant now. I hear it when I'm not even at my desk. Sometimes it's slow and deliberate, like someone tapping carefully. Other times it's frantic, almost urgent. Last night, I tried something I don't recommend. I clicked the doors again. The CAPTCHA failed as always, but then my computer shut down completely. No warning, no blue screen, just black. When I turned it back on, the first thing on my screen was an image of a door, the same door from the CAPTCHAs. But this time, it was fully clear, no pixelation. It was open, revealing a dark corridor just beyond the threshold. Then, my speakers started crackling. A faint voice whispered through the static, too quiet to understand, but definitely human. I closed my laptop and sat back, heart pounding. I tried to shrug it off as a prank or a virus, but deep down, I know this is something else. I checked my apartment door, locked, no one outside. This morning, I noticed something worse. Small scratches on my office door frame. Thin lines, almost like fingernail marks. I don't remember them being there before. I'm terrified to sleep. When I close my eyes, I see that door from the CAPTCHAs, slightly ajar, with something waiting in the shadows. I'm posting this now because I don't know what else to do. I'm considering wiping my computer, moving my workspace, even changing my phone number. But I'm afraid it won't stop. Whatever this is, it's tied to those doors. The more I try to ignore it, the louder the knocking becomes, like it wants me to open that door. If you ever see a CAPTCHA with doors, don't click, just walk away. Because some doors aren't meant to be opened, especially the ones you see in the flickering pixels of a CAPTCHA. If you ever get stuck on those CAPTCHAs, be careful. Sometimes, failing isn't the worst outcome.
You can close the tab, you can shut off your phone, but the connection doesn't break that easily. Every watch, every second, every click leaves a trace. And sometimes, something follows it back. If the signal cuts out, don't try to reload. Don't open another video. Just wait. This was LurmoStories. Connection lost. Or maybe, restored somewhere else.